The biggest issue I see with social justice advocacy right now is probably not what you think. And I'm a transgender guy. Everybody talks about being a part of the resistance movement. No, not for me. I'm part of the persistence movement. I want to persist and strive and move through the world with love. I'm not trying to resist hate. I am pro-peace. I'm not anti-war. See the difference? It really makes a difference in the mindset, the shift, the energy behind it. If what you resist persists, and this is the advocacy we're doing, and this is, the war and the president and everything like that, and we're just pushing it up against it. I'm trying to transmute it, transform it, go beyond, make peace with it, confuse them with peace. They're like, what do I even do with it? Being of peace, being of more tranquility, being more grounded and centered in your truth is the greatest power hack you can have. They are going to continue to be able to systematically oppress people that are transgender, that are of racial minorities, of different abilities, of different ages, all these different identities that have a value judgment in our Western society. They are going to continue to be able to oppress us on mass scales using social media to infiltrate us and tell us lies about how the world is going to shit and make our sympathetic nervous system spiked up and in fear and in anger and all of that. And we are just like willingly giving our power away. Take your power back. Come back into your truth. You are a divine being of the universe. You can literally start writing down your goals, what you want to see manifest in your life, what you want to see in your reality, and you will start to manifest those things in your life. 2.5 years ago, I was so depressed after, is it 2.5 years? Whenever right after Trump got elected, what was after his inauguration, I literally was so scared, I ended up in this psych ward for 30 days. I'm not even like making this up. I've talked about this in multiple videos, but probably not to the extent and the detail. Like, I was so like, what the heck is even happening in the world? And I was so depressed and scared and full of anxiety, and I was giving my power away to that fear-based story. I know I slowed down the momentum. I no longer am waiting for the next president, for equality legislation. I am no longer waiting for everybody in the world to be able to not ever say anything transphobic again. I have decided that right now, the way that I am of highest service to the world and how I reclaim my power and my truth is by building momentum and focusing on the things that I want to pull into my life, having profound gratitude for what is working in my life. A lot of the times our perception gets so distorted by social media. A lot of the people watching this, if you're watching this, you may be watching this either on a laptop, on a smartphone, you have internet access, you probably can text anybody you want right now, you probably have food in your house. You have clean air to breathe. You're breathing right now. You're here. You're alive. If you are watching this on YouTube, if you have access to YouTube, you are doing better than probably 80 to 85% of the people in the entire world right now who live on less than $2 a day. Okay? So the mass media wants you to have such a distorted, ungrateful perspective of the world. This is a better time to be alive than ever on the face of the earth. There is so much opportunity that you could literally write down your goals right now, take small little steps to make them happen. And no matter if you have the most profound barriers in 5, 6 years, whatever it is, you could have an entirely different, profound life where you are thriving in every single area. It is completely possible. I am no longer going to let the fact that I'm transgender hold me back from thriving in every single area of my life. I deserve it just as much as anybody else. And when someone does say something transphobic and it puts me in a place where my palms are sweating, my knees are weak, no, just kidding, that I have my sympathetic nervous system heightened and I get, kind of jittery and scared, I have a choice in the split second in that space between this external stimulus of someone saying something. In this space right here, before I respond, I have a choice to make. How am I going to respond? Am I going to say something equally as hateful back? Am I going to multiply that hate? Am I going to say nothing? Am I going to act out of self-preservation and say nothing? Am I going to say something loving? Am I going to open a kind conversation up? Am I going to walk away? You know what the right choice is in every single moment. And I've had people say things to my face out of anger, maybe strangers, and I've literally asked them, what's going on? Do you need a hug? And not all the time do they then, oh, you know what, yeah, you're right, I really needed a hug. But sometimes they're just like, screw you, man, I don't need a hug, whatever. But I can see something click where later, when they're falling asleep, they're going to think about, man, that guy, I was acting really out of line, and that guy asked if I needed a hug, man, and maybe it won't click that night. Maybe it will click years down the road. Maybe you just are planting a seed. Maybe it won't click then, but you are just planting a tiny seed where you are at least just out of self-preservation, not feeding into or not giving away your power to that other person. You have a choice. I have a choice to show up for you, to be of greater service to you by making choices of how to be my better self. Or I can make choices like continuing to stay on Facebook until 1 a.m. and commenting on every Trump post and arguing with every person about that. Or I could take time out of my day to meditate, to pray, to write in my journal about the world that I do want to see, to hold energy and space and feeling of, wow, what would it feel like if the world was at peace? What would it feel like if all the equality legislation was passed? What would it feel like if we had a beautiful, loving president that was fully aligned with the highest good for all and was of full service to everybody and wanted to be someone that rose to the occasion of being a profound leader for the greatest good for all? What would it feel like if we really had those things? And you are doing advocacy work when you hold the energetic space of what that feels like, because it is no longer enough to go to protests. It is no longer enough to put your fists in the air and carry a sign. It is no longer enough to post Facebook articles and comment on all that shit. If you are not taking deliberate time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, out of your day, to hold the energy of the world that you want to see and allow that to come from the inside out, that is what we need to be doing. The Maharishi effect is, they had like several thousand monks meditating and like on world peace in one area, and the crime rate dropped significantly. Types of things like this, like, we're energetic beings. Your vibration affects everyone. You can multiply out love to your entire neighborhood. You can be a beacon and a force for love and light and good. I stopped going to protests because I realized that it was no longer of greatest service and it was no longer of the best use of my personal energy. I mean, if that's your thing and that's what you're called to do by your higher self, go for it. But for instance, me, I really had to take time where I started just meditating and journaling, and really like would reserve my space and my love for myself and send it out to people, like through prayer, through meditation, hold the vibe. Like, people talk crap about just, well, your thoughts and prayers don't do anything. Well, actually, we're all vibrational beings, and that if enough people actually did hold that intention of love, and especially activists who have a lot of heightened energy, if they started channeling that into just, again, not resisting what they don't want, but start really holding the vibe of the things that they do want, and see more of that in the world. So if you're ready for a whole new level of activism, comment below. I'm ready. You're ready. And I'll know that we're not just looking for just activists, but more light workers in the world. When I heard about the term light workers, it lit me up, literally, because I was like, you know what? I don't want to just be an activist. I want to be a light worker. A light worker. If you want to follow me on Instagram and connect more, it's just Ashton James Colby, and as well as my friend Aaron. I mentioned him below. He's a trans guy doing incredible spiritual work below. You can follow him on Instagram. You can go to genderqueer, spelled YOU.com. It is my social enterprise, and it is all about transgender people, not just transitioning, but thriving. And type your email, you can get notified when we launch, as well as if you want to go to Gender Euphoria on Instagram, follow them, and we're taking things to a whole nother level. I've manifested a lot of beautiful resources in the last year to help me launch this website and help do Gender Euphoria in a whole nother way. So get ready, it's happening, and I love you. Stay awesome. You are a divine being of the universe, and I am so ready to see you thrive, and I'm here for it. We're making it happen. The world is getting better than it ever was, okay? Stay awesome.